So, hey, Robert, so you know that we sell multi-unit franchises to people that want to build and run companies with our brands. Any advice that you'd give a new franchisee to build the team that it takes to successfully build the franchise that they signed up for, and then ideally could scale up much bigger than that?
Sure, that's a great question, Dan. And I think the best advice I could give an operator is they have to look at the human capital that they're bringing on board. It's essential that they look at hiring a director of operations or district manager, that they look at hiring the right general manager, the right kitchen manager. And also, it's very important that they have the right amount of bench strength that could help them during their growth process. There's nothing more frustrating than having the ability to grow, but not having the manager or the human capital in place in order to operate the business the correct way. Another challenge we see operators facing is having the ability to open up multiple units, but not having the right people, but hiring very hastily, hiring very quickly, not taking the right time to hire the right person, but hiring just any person to come in to fill that void in hopes that they can operate that unit successfully for the franchisee.
Yeah, franchisees spending $500,000 to build a location, and then they cut corners trying to hire just the right guy as close to the opening as they can, leaving themselves no room for error. What to you is an ideal director of operations?
The reason why an operator would want to have a director of operations in place is because they want that director of operations to act as a general manager for that first unit. As the franchisor begins to grow, as they begin to open up more units, that director of operations is now moving into a new role, backfilling that role that they just assumed as a general manager. They have a general manager on the bench who is ready to take over that role as a general manager. Therefore, that director of operations is in the process of building that next unit, helping to staff that next unit, and actually just moving on from there. The operator is being very proactive at this point. They're not being reactive. They have the right people in place. That director of operations knows the system. They're very familiar with the nuances, the training, and what parameters they must follow as a franchisee. And therefore, as the growth continues, they're able to move into that role. A director of operations will typically have anywhere between 5 and 7 years as a director of operations for either a franchise or corporate operations of running, basically those amounts of units, we're opening 5 new restaurants, within that tenure that they were there. Maybe they have been successful as of promoting 5 to 7 general managers. New store opening, I think, is very vital, very key for any new operator who's looking to hire a director of operations. But they also must have the business acumen of knowing food costs, labor costs, but they also have to have the volume experience. If you have an operation that is planning on doing anywhere between $4 and $5 million of experience, well, it's very good to have an operator who has that or more in volume, so they know how to manage and know how to direct the rest of the staff because they have that experience in doing so.
Otherwise, you risk having your team figure out if they can do it on the fly. What do you think makes an ideal general manager for a new franchisee starting off trying to build a new brand in a new market?
New store experience is very key and vital for a general manager coming into this situation. They must have anywhere between 4 to 6 years of general manager experience. Now, depending on the volume, if you have a general manager who may have only 2 or 3 years of experience, but has maybe double the amount of volume experience, that's certainly a give and take that the franchisor could decide to take into consideration. You want a general manager who is very aware and who could calculate, who could basically manage the food costs, the labor costs, basically the overall surroundings of the entire building, both front, back, and both in and out of that restaurant.
So most of the franchises that we sell are basically kitchens with cash registers, high volume QSR, high volume fast casual. What do you think makes the ideal kitchen manager, someone who's just going to be running the machine of your business?
You want to have someone who has that personality, who is basically is not rattled very easily, who could basically control their emotions under pressure, because we all know once those lunchtime or dinner time, those tickets come in, you want someone who could basically be able to handle that pressure very easily, because it's essential to show that poise in the presence of their staff.
Franchisees don't invest this kind of money to build these kinds of businesses only to buy themselves a job or to cut corners so that they're forced to do it. You need the bench strength, especially when you're growing. You need the redundancy, you need the bench strength. You've got to have teams of people that can go on and successfully open new restaurants, and strong teams behind that can keep your restaurants operating at a high level. Robert, are you willing to share a job description on an ideal candidate for a director of operations?
Sure. At Gecko Hospitality, we help franchisees in all different niches. That's our job. That's what we do here. If there are any franchisees who are concerned about what type of job description do I use, what is the type of salary, what is the salary commensurate with this type of experience in this type of demographic in this type of location, that's where our biggest benefit to our clientele are the resources that we have. So yes, if someone is looking for a job description for a director of operations, all they have to do is follow the link on this page, and they'll be directed to a sample job description of not just a director of operations, but a general manager and a kitchen manager as well too.
Awesome. What's your email address?
Sure. Email address is going to be robert@gecko, Gecko, hospitality.com.
Perfect. You make it easy. All right, cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.